Okay, I've got a minute here before the next box. So, as the subscriber numbers diminish, the routes become farther and farther in between deliveries. And there used to be a rule with the previous ownership that I think is kind of carried over, but I don't know if they're going to stick with it or not. Or, obviously this current manager of the local paper is a digital expert, not a physical paper expert. So he's focusing on the digital, which is good because the paper's web presence under the previous ownership was complete just trash. It was terrible. An unfunctional, hard to navigate, confusingly worded website. So, if nothing else, there's that. But anyways, the subscribership diminishes. There's actually a number of reasons for that. Part of it is, anybody who had any common sense and saw that the Associated Press was deeply involved politically in the election, they were, a number of times toward the end there, the people that were working at the paper under the previous ownership it was autonomous. Local news was covered locally, but anything national was AP. There was no political commentary from the locals. There used to be, and then the ones that did that retired. Nobody really replaced them after that, on that level. So, a lot of people seriously quit the paper because of the coverage of the election, because of the obvious bias. Anyone of the rural areas, especially, those motor routes dropped right off because there's a lot of Trump supporters out in the country. And the paper obviously did not cover Trump in a fair way. They're doing better about it now, somewhat. They still run AP articles that are not honestly worded sometimes, but it ain't the local paper's fault. But again, nobody's checking AP on it. Nobody's editing their articles down or anything. It's just, run it. Basically makes it a Mockingbird mouthpiece, I would think, in a sense. So, as the various reasons for people to decide they don't want to get the paper, either don't want it delivered because they've run out of decent delivery people, they've all moved on to other things, and for a while you end up with just a bunch of slacky idiot people that, can't figure out their own way out of a paper bag, especially if it's wet. It's hard. Personally, I have memorized every route that I've done after about a week's worth of doing them, if I do them for a week. Sometimes finally do it once in a while, every couple of months, or, a route that I've only done. Holy crap. These roads. Man. So, as the people find reasons to not want to get the paper delivered, the delivery numbers dwindle, quality of carriers dwindles. This also impacts the subscribership. But at the same time, there was a whole other snafu as well, which was the cost of the newspaper versus the cost of delivering the newspaper and producing the newspaper. And the advertising revenue certainly funds the business more than the subscribership does. And the customers like to bitch and complain and whatever, but honestly, they're not the ones that are paying the bills. And so then newspaper would need to raise the rates considerably so that they can raise the pay considerably. The only way that I make it profitable is that I am a sub only, and I get paid this solid fee of a pretty nice amount, but my vehicle goes through a lot of wear and tear, and I am given routes that I have not done before, and I go out and do them just based off of a list, and I make sure that they are done correctly, and so they pay me what I'm worth. So, all of these factors contribute they basically have not raised the price of the paper significantly. They have not raised the pay of the carriers really at all, I don't think. Eventually they busted it down to where any of the motor routes that they couldn't keep filled, they put them onto mail anyway. And so then on the weekends when there's no mail, there's a Saturday and a Sunday route available for subbing on pretty much every motor route, and then they're all this same sub rate. And so everybody that's doing a route is like, hell yeah, I'll pick up an extra thing on the weekends, and so all those people are getting, and that's all fine and good. But for what I was doing, which is not having a route and just filling in anywhere, and if they have routes that they can't, they can't fill, and now they put them on mail instead of have a super sub carry, and they basically just kind of errated my job out. Which is why I'm moving on to this other thing. But anyways, as this subscribership decreases, but the route geography does not necessarily change too much. You can find some shortcuts because you don't have to go a certain way anymore. But it means things like right now, I have started recording this video just after a box. You watched me do a paper. Now I've been talking and driving, been running about 25 to 35. I can't go fast on this road. It is so choppy. And here I am coming up on the next box, and this video is 6.5 minutes long already. So, and see, this is one of these oddball people. They get the Des Moines Register, which comes from the middle of the state, has no local news. I have no idea if they get, I don't think they get a local paper from this town that they're by, and they don't get the paper that I work for that delivers this other one by contract. So yeah, it's run down, and riding it all the way down, it's kind of sad, but at the same time, I've definitely I've made a good living off of it for a while. Honestly, I spend less than half of what I make on a single route, and if I do two routes, then I'm less than 25% at cost. I just save it up, pay the bills, keep things caught up. Of course, the vehicle maintenance gets pretty hefty after a while. You got to be careful about that. I'm driving on bad ball joints, waiting on the other ones to go, or for me to finish this time out and then get that repaired at my leisure, because it won't be as much of an issue. Certainly won't be putting the truck through as much abuse at that point. Yeah, I got nothing else on that matter. Eventually I will still get to the physics tricks part. I'm just having these other thoughts come out and having a moment to get them sequentially, I guess. And all things in due time, it'll come out. My mind does its own thing with these things. It has an order, and I'll be like, okay, empty spot, fill it. And, Inception style, you build a safe, and inside the safe is the secret knowledge. So I'll just build a spot and wait for it to fill it. And then when it's filled, I'll say the thing. That's what I do. I call it eidetic. I don't know if that's it or not, but that's what I call it, because it's all there stacked up waiting. And if I just let it roll it out, it'll say it. It's pretty cool. So anyways, moving on from that last box, I'll give you I won't stop this one until I get to the next one. This is going to be a 10-minute video, and I apologize. Oh, I know what I'll talk about in the meantime. Slightly different direction for the channel, but not really different direction, but I got a couple ideas. I think I may just get these, I got a bunch of Audubon books and how to survive in the woods and stuff, and go out and identify on video for my channel all of the different plants, find out which ones are edible, which ones are not. It's always been an interest of mine, so I'm going to do that a bit, and of course my commentary will come throughout, but there will be some education as well. I've got, since that walk it off video was so long, it required me to verify my account, so I went ahead and did that. I'm going to be honest, I do not trust YouTube with my information. Not really cool with that thing, but I mean, I already have my my own protocols in place as far as avoiding identity theft and things like that. And, nothing particularly incriminating about my lifestyle or communications, but I don't appreciate anybody having access to private info. Now that if they have my phone number, the tech companies and their agreements with each other, who knows? So anyways, as far as I know, I'll have to test it out sometime tomorrow, but as far as I know, I have the capability to live stream because I have verified my accounts. So, I don't know, I may do some live chats at some point. I know I only have like 14 subscribers, but the other thing is I can use that ability to, I don't know, stream without having to store and upload some content, or find myself a Wi-Fi location. I don't know. So, yeah, I may do something with that in the future. I know right now there's not a lot of point in it because I can think of maybe 2 people, 3 people that might come chit chat if I was having a live chat. I don't even know what the hell that crap would be about. Can't think of. I don't know. That would be a weird conversation. Got 4 or 5 people. A couple of them fairly notorious. God forbid the trolls. Here's somebody coming down the road. Whoa. Alright, so I'm going to end this segment. Yeah, that was C1, 2, 3. This is 4 boxes in 10 minutes, 12 minutes. It's supposed to be 2 miles maximum between boxes. And this is really pushing it. So. Yep, okay.